Folks, we're joined once again by our good friend and media colleague, Max Pizarro, who's editor-in-chief at insidernj.com. We'll put up their website. Max, good to see you.
Great to be here, Steve. Thank you.
So many things to talk about. You know that we don't do horse race politics per se, but we will talk about the policy implications, the significance of a couple of things. And let's start with this. As we speak right now, the so-called party line that has existed in New Jersey, the only state in the nation that has had this practice, where candidates, particularly on the Democratic side, Republican as well, but on the Democratic side, they get the party line. The party boss, the party chair in the county says, Max Pizarro, you're our candidate. You get this spot. You're going to run with these people. Adubato, you're going to run off the line. You're over here in ballot Siberia, can't find you. The courts have determined, a federal appeals court judge has ruled on this, and so far it's been upheld, that the party line is dead for the Democrats. Can't use it anymore. Why is that significant to small d Democratic, the democratic process, A, and B, from a policy point of view? Why is it important?
I think it's significant because a lot of populist progressives who for years have lost elections off the line, Steve, now feel empowered and feel emboldened. And this monolith that you just described of party organization power signified on the ballot by the line now is no longer all powerful or almost all powerful. We've seen candidates in the past win off the line, namely the late State Senator Ronald L. Rice beat the machine off the line, and a handful of others. But the line has been so extraordinarily potent in our elections process of the primary. So it does empower people who have been off the reservation, let's say. And then the second part of your question, Steve, I want to make sure that I'm getting it right.
So the policy implications of this. Let's argue that. Let me play devil. Max and I have a lot of conversation about politics offline. So let me try this. So say a legislator, someone in the state government, state legislator, a senator, lower house, assembly, there's a certain policy position they want to take, or they're against a certain policy. But the party boss, the county chair of that political leader's party says, no, we don't want you to do that. If you do that, you're off the line. What are the implications as it relates to a whole range of issues that are dealt with or not dealt with in certain ways because of fear of reprisal from a party boss who will throw you off the line and, again, put you in, quote, ballot Siberia, where you can't find the person?
Right. So we just had a gas tax pass.
That's right.
And the bosses told the people representing the party organizations, you vote for the gas tax. It was hustled through committee, and it made it to the governor's desk. Now, in the new environment wherein the county organizations do not control candidates to the degree that they do now, and I'm not saying this happens next time or the time after, but eventually, if this block voting prevails, and again, as you mentioned, this is going to play out in the courts, so it's not over yet. But if block voting prevails,
Max, means if Max and I are running for the U.S. Senate, along with Elvin Badger, our director, they just block us, the three of us together, right? That's block.
Right. Well, it's a random drawing. So if you and I are running for state senate, let's say, and we're running in a primary, and in the old way, one of us would receive the organization line and be on a column, right? Yeah, the other one would be in Siberia, right?
Yeah.
Now, under block voting, we are randomly drawn, and we can run with the party slogans, but we're not under one. Yes, exactly. Right. We're not bracketed under.
It's a fair fight, right, Max?
It's fair. It's fair. Yes. And I think what'll happen is, because that control won't exist to the degree it does now, Steve, I think there will be more populism in our governing body, and it'll be harder to pass a gas tax because people who have run off the line and aren't as controlled, or it'll be harder perhaps to force feed policy.
Let me try this one. So as we speak at the end of April 2024, the U.S. Senate race will play out in New Jersey. We'll see what happens. Big election in June. Congressman Andy Kim, a decided advantage. We'll see what happens. On the Democratic side, we'll see who the Republican nominee is. It'll be an election in November. Do you believe any of this happens, Max Pizarro? You've been covering politics for a long time. If the First Lady in New Jersey, Tammy Murphy, did not, quote, get the party line in 5 or 6 key of the 21 counties in the state, if she hadn't gotten the line and Andy Kim had not brought this case along with others, which then went to the courts and it's being adjudicated as we speak in the courts, we know where it is based on what Max just said. Does any of this happen if Tammy Murphy doesn't get the party line, who is now obviously not running for the U.S. Senate any longer? Am I making too much of that, Max?
Steve, I love the question. And I think that Tammy Murphy running for the U.S. Senate seat is emblematic of a party organization or a process that has lost its way, that has become disconnected from the ground game of real people and real voices and, candidly, real party organizations, because we saw a lot of party organizations push back. So in a sense, Tammy Murphy was the straw that broke the camel's back. If it wasn't Tammy Murphy, based on the performance of the bosses and looking out for themselves and not their party organizations and not the primary voters, something else would have come up to push this issue. That's my belief. This just happened to be the issue at this time. It was an overreach of power, Steve.
Right.
And with wise leadership in those positions, with leadership that is primarily concerned with the party organizations, you wouldn't have this abuse of power. But this abuse of power, that is the belief that the wife of the governor should be senator because that will benefit me, it'll benefit my lobbying interests, it'll benefit my private interests, not the public interests. That, in this case, proved to be just too much, particularly, Steve, on the heels of the meltdown, the corruption meltdown of Senator Bob Menendez.
Talk about Menendez. And P.S., the governor has said, Governor Murphy has said, too much has been made of the party line issue. People can decide for themselves whether the governor is right or not on that. But you mentioned Senator Menendez. He runs, he doesn't run, we don't know. We're not doing horse race politics. Bigger picture. And we also don't know how the trial is going to play out. Innocent until proven otherwise. Question, Max. What do you believe the legacy of Senator Menendez, who has served in the lower house in the state legislature, in the state Senate, then in the House of Representatives, and now as the senior senator in the great state of New Jersey, what do you believe his legacy will be? And is this
Steve,
it?
Right. So I should point out that these are allegations, right?
They're allegations.
If in fact this proves to be true and he is in fact convicted, I think his legacy is that he's the smartest man ever to have done the dumbest thing in New Jersey politics, which is just lose his mind and go off the rails. And he was an extremely intelligent public official who was one of our most...
Affairs Committee and the head of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the U.S. Senate.
Right. That's right. So this is a person who was intimately involved in American foreign policy around the world.
Max, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this. We've had Senator Bramnick on, State Senator Bramnick, the mayor of Jersey City, Steve Pullip. We're having Jack Ciattarelli. All these folks are running for governor in 2025 in New Jersey. Having Jack Ciattarelli his third time running, Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, running for governor for the first time. We'll have every candidate who matters, Democrats, Republicans, on the issues. Max, let me ask you something. Senator Bramnick came on and made it clear that he would not vote for Donald Trump. He does not believe the Republican Party is the party of Donald Trump, and he abhors the persona, the public persona of Donald Trump. Do you believe Senator Bramnick is right or he's wrong? Is the Republican Party the party of Donald Trump?
I think we're going to find out next year, Steve. And I want to answer your question directly, but I do think that when you look at Ciattarelli, who is affiliated with Trump and supports Trump's presidential candidacy, versus Bramnick, who does not, who vociferously opposes it, what'll happen is if Trump becomes president this year, you will see Ciattarelli emerge as the clear favorite to get the Republican nomination for governor next year. If Trump loses, Bramnick will then be the favorite.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, because I think that Bramnick will be able to make the case, and this goes back to your question, he'll be able to make the case that Republicans have erred in affiliating with Donald Trump to such a degree that the party needs to start over. Here's Donald Trump, who lost the presidency and can't win back the presidency. And so the Republican Party needs to begin anew. And Bramnick will be uniquely positioned to make that case, and Chiatarelli will not.
And I don't know, again, I said it when it wasn't going to do a horse race, but we'll see if there's another candidate who enters the race on the Republican side as well. Let me let you go on this, Max. I haven't talked about this. United States Congressman Tom Kean Jr. We used to have him on all the time when he was a state senator. Haven't seen him out much. Doesn't hold public meetings, town meetings, as far as I know. Not a lot of media access, but he's a United States Congressman. Why does that matter that I want to talk to him, that other journalists want to talk to him and ask him policy questions, where he is on certain issues? Why not? He's just not doing it. Why does that matter, Max?
It matters because we have a congressman who's made a calculation that shunning the media actually improves his chances in the MAGA-dominant Republican Party.
But that's not who he's been his whole public life, Max.
He'll be able to, or what he can rationalize is that he's just blending into the background, and that's not leadership, Steve. Back to the point of your public life, your work, the book you wrote on the subject. Tom Kean Jr. is unfortunately turning his back on the leadership example of his own father, who actually got Democrats to go in his direction when he was governor of this state. And unfortunately, Kean Jr. is allowing the MAGA wing of the Republican Party to make him a non-entity.
Max Pizarro is editor-in-chief at InsiderNJ.com, one of our longtime media partners. Max, thanks, my friend.
Thank you so much, Steve.
I'm Steve Adubato. That's Max Pizarro. We'll see you next time.
Think Tank with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 30 years in public broadcasting. Funding has been provided by PSEG Foundation, Newark Board of Education, PNC Foundation, RWJ Barnabas Health, Let's Be Healthy Together, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the Fidelco Group, the Russell Berry Foundation, Operating Engineers, Local 825, and by the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Promotional support provided by bestofnj.com and by northjersey.com and Local IQ.
I'm very grateful that I'm still here.
That's me and my donor when we went to celebrate our first anniversary.
With a new kidney, I have strength.
They gave me a new lease on life.
I'm still going everywhere and exploring new places.
Nobody thought I was going to be here. Nobody.
And I look forward to getting older with my wife. That's possible now.
We're transforming lives through innovative kidney treatments, living donor programs, and world-renowned care at 2 of New Jersey's premier hospitals.
They gave me my normal life back. It's a blessing.
RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.